Hello everybody and welcome back to Let's Play Vampire the Masquerade Game Jam games. I am still on the plain browser titles, by the way. I am playing every single one of the titles submitted except for two. One because I don't have VR and one because I don't trust it, which is... yeah, it takes a lot for me to not to trust something. So today we're gonna go for Law of Blood Vampire Story by Reblotto, and if there's time afterwards, then there's time afterwards. But for now this will do. And if I remember correctly, because I already clicked on it, there's no music. So here's some Oblivion Cyberpunk Dark Synthwave mix, royalty free, no copyright music, because I definitely need some sort of sound. With each heartbeat, you feel your life slipping away. No, not away exactly. Into. Your wrist burns as the two large incisors burrow into it. You can feel lapping waves of memory, emotion, and vital essence mingling on the lascivious tongue of your tormentor. Your heart aches like someone is squeezing it into the palm of their hand, forcing it to stop beating. There's a dull roar in your ears and you think this is it. Then the hand withdraws, letting your heart reinflate like a balloon. The canines retract as your tormentor pushes himself back with a half-satiated, half-disappointed sigh. There is a dull, painful throbbing in your wrist and you feel like you're having a heart attack. Luckily you can't have heart attacks. You haven't been able to for years. Not since that night when you were killed and reborn as something both new and ancient. In a word, the vampire. Just like the creature in front of you. Sure, it looks human, just like you, but this debauched creature is in its robe and house slippers, as if it were in a wine cellar for a nightcap, is a cruel and treacherous bastard. Possibly the last one you will ever meet. Ah, I think your blood is regaining some of its vitality after last evening. In fact, it has never tasted so... salty, like the kind's tears. For a brief moment, I could almost feel a bloody tear welling in the corner of my own eye. Delicious! Perhaps now you will not be so resistant to the little treats I offer you? The ghastly creature says. Oof, so we're a vampire and we're stuck somewhere else with somebody else. Well, fuck you. I'll never drink willingly. Not while you have me chained up like this, you say. Oh, but you already have, he admonishes. Why continue this little charade? That wasn't me, it was the beast, you insist. Ah yes, the beast, it says. The thing traveling around with you, whispering dark suggestions in your brain when you suffer from the hunger, scratching and clawing to take over when you let your humanity slip. At least that's how we like to think of it, but why keep it locked up? Is it not also a part of you? I want to answer with none of these. Honestly, like... no, I don't see a point to tell him that he talks too much, considering that I'm chained up and being drained. And I also don't really want to go like, yeah, I suppose it is. It would be like, none of your fucking business, you weirdo. Well, you talk too much for now. You're going to stick another mortal in here with me, just do it, say. A long, slow smile curls across your captor's face. His eyes seem to shine, but otherwise remain still and dead. For a long moment, he says nothing. Have you overstepped and caused him to decide to bring final death? So there's nothing you can do about it now. I feel like this choice was a bit like a Mass Effect choice, where you're just all like, everything's fine, and then Shepard kinda kills a puppy. No, I don't actually mean let me drain somebody. I specifically mean, shut up. He stares at you for a moment longer, then turns towards the wall behind him. He pushes on something and a section of the wall slides upward to reveal an opening. Young one, he says in a voice that you think is meant to be reassuring but just sounds creepy. Oh, I feel bad for the captor dude now. He's trying his damnedest. muster some slack. A short wisp of a mortal wearing baggy blue jeans and a white tank top stumbles into the room. They turn back towards the entrance, but it is already sealed. They run a hand through their cropped bleach blonde hair, then make menacing gesture at the mutual host. Vampire laughs. You have nothing to fear. From me, he says in a giggle. Don't fear nothing from nobody, the mortal says in a high-pitched voice. Well then, I will leave two of you to get to know each other a little better, the vampire says, opening the door again. The door closes before your new companion can rush back out. They bang on it a few times with the fists before resigning with a fuckhead. Gonna get out of here, you fucker, just you wait. Well, apparently it reminds me of my first night here. The headlights of your cargo van barely penetrate the sheets of rain coming down. Luckily, Red doesn't need the headlights to see. You look over at the Malkavian, who is shirtless except for a pair of red suspenders that lent them their name. You're chomping on a cigar, occasionally blowing a puff of smoke out the open window and turning their head to talk to you more often than you think it is safe. Shitty night, huh? They say. Yeah, you say flatly, hoping to kill the conversation. Been to this place before? They ask anyway. Nope, is your only response. I have. They continue oblivious to your tone a few times now. Whacked out place. You don't want to ask, but a Malkavian says a place is whacked out has your curiosity. Whacked out? Whacked out how? It's like this old abandoned hospital, they explain after blowing smoke out the window. Got shut down after some big corporate merger. Not profitable enough, I guess. Anyway, it's run by a Tremere named Alexis now. Nobody knows much about him or what he's up to in there, but he brought in some other members of his clan. They say he's setting up a chantry, but I say hospital's a weird fucking place to set up a chantry. This delivery's for him, you ask. I normally don't ask many questions about your delivery, it's safer that way, but if Red is spooked, then you need to know why. Yeah, Red confirms, this is actually one of the bigger contracts for the system. I heard there are boons involved. Been a part of the circulatory system since the night you were turned. An underground organization that deals in trafficking humans for vampires to feed on requires a lot of muscle to avoid problems. Your sire figured a serial killer would be perfect. Oof, well that's... Oh, yep, that, interesting background. Completely off topic because I know that we're in a very, very dark, very, very, very dark world here, but I honestly can never imagine killing somebody. I know it's a very, very weird thing to like bring up. But so many people use dehumanizing words about other people like completely without care, and then you have like so many empty exclamations floating about on the internet and from other people of, you know, oh, I could just kill that and do this and do that, and it's like, I don't know where you picked up that language, but no. Just like being a serial killer. I wonder how will that background play out. But it makes me care about us a little bit less, so there's that. In your time working for the system, you made dozens of deliveries to everyone from factitious Ventru to society shy Nosferatu. Payment is usually quite generous in both hard currency and in blood. More generosity means more protection from anyone learning your feeding proclivities, among other things. But that almost never extends as far as boons. A formal favor in kindred society that once granted must be repaid. You're jolted out of your reverie by the van taking a turn a little too fast. You swear you can feel the wheels on your side leave the pavement, but somehow you don't flip. They The tip of the red cigar flares in the commotion but remains solidly between their teeth. If the tiny fire closing in on their mouth makes them nervous, they aren't showing it. Anything else? Also, quite interesting that quite a few people seem to have written about working for the circulatory system, as if this, as if the fast Uber blood delivery service was like a completely normal thing to write about. I don't know, maybe it's like a new thing and I just haven't like caught up with all of the V5 shit and therefore I didn't expect it, or maybe it's people just really want some home delivery for their food. I don't know. Anything else you can tell me, you ask? I can tell you we're here, Red says as they slam on the brakes to bring the van to a halt. You hope the mortal on the back didn't get too banged up during the ride, and damaged goods can cut down on the system's fee. Also, another thing, I know that this is a flashback, but we got embraced as like a murderer and we're at Humanity 6, where I don't have been a very, very good boy. Or we haven't tanked our humanity a lot by killing people as a human, which is hard for me to believe. The hospital is a drab multi-story monolith. You don't see any lights on in any of the windows, and there's an abandoned ambulance sitting at the ER entrance. A few scraggly trees, whose leaves have fallen off to the winter sway in the wind, scrapping against windows on the bottom floor. There's something eerie about the place, more so than the sleazier places you made drop-offs. Red parks beneath the same overhang the ambulance is under, so you won't get wet. Though most likely they care less about you getting wet than their cigar, which is now practically a nub. As you unload the vessel from the bag of the van, Maybe you wanted to say back, not bag, because from the bag of the van it sounds weird. A spindly figure in a red smoking jacket and slippers comes out to greet you. Right on time, they shout above the rain. Very good, you have my vessel? Sure do, Red says. And you hear a crunch, feel a sharp pain in your back, and the world goes black. And now tonight, here you are, watching your new companions stalk back and forth, yelling and cursing. Play dumb games, win dumb prizes! Once again, we are a murderer, so I don't feel that bad for us. I understand that Vampire Society, a lot of people are murderers, but I judge humans higher, I don't know. Maybe it's because I am a person and I do exist in the real world, but like, I judge people doing shitty things higher than I would judge a supernatural creature doing shitty things. I would be like, you're kind of leaning evil anyway. I'll let that slip. But like, if it was a person, I would just, yeah, I don't. Is that just me? Hello, you say. Fuck off, Creepro. They respond. Well, I would like to, but I'm a little stuck right now. Fucking A, they says. You got any ideas how we get out? Let me see if I can find the switch. You head towards where you saw the switch, but before you get there, you start to feel sharp pains all over the body. Try to push through, but the pain is too intense. It feels like it's ripping the flesh right off your bones. You retreat and sit down on the floor. Your flesh actually has been punctured in numerous places. The damage is real and not just psychological. What the fuck was that? They yell. Not yells, yell. I should have known, you respond. This area is warded to keep me in. Warded? What does that mean? They ask. Ask, not asks. Oh right, you say, realizing about this mortal has no idea about blood magic and might not even know about vampires. You got a name? My name's G-Pain, they say. As in G. You're going to be in a lot of pain if you fuck with me. G-Pain got it, and your pronouns are. I'm obviously a girl, shithead. You got a problem with that, she says. Murderer asking for pronouns. Very interesting choice. I mean, I suppose we gained some humanity back somehow after dying. Just trying to help. Speaking of which, want to get out of here? Fucking A, G-Pain says. Got any ideas how we get out? It looks like there was some kind of switch or something next to the door. G-Pain walks over to the wall and searches for the switch. After a brief moment, she says, I can't find it. Why don't you come over here and look? Right. The stupidity of the situation is getting to me more than anything right now. Okay, both characters are acting dumb. Let me explain. First of all, this character saw you get injured by trying to get near the switch. Not only were they completely fine going near the switch, they're now asking you to go near the switch again after witnessing that. And your two answers are no problem, and summon your will to break free of the word. So both sounds like, yeah, sure, let me just go to the switch, despite the fact that that sounds like the shittiest idea possible. Let me give you a sane answer. No, dumbass, you just saw me attempt that. I obviously cannot. You saw what it does to me if I try walking towards the switch. Why are you asking me that? But secondly, dumbass, why did you obey my command to go and look for the switch after you saw what happened to me? We're in a single little room. I mean, I am obviously observable. What the fuck? These kind of things get to me more than spelling mistakes ever do. Like, just irrational behavior. I'm just gonna go with no problem and expect that that's broken English for no. No, it's not. We actually have go to the switch and go to the switch. You head towards where you saw the switch, but before you get there, you start to feel sharp. Yep, again. We have had this situation twice now. It's a type of blood sorcery in this case. It's designed to keep me in, and you just saw me do this twice. What the fuck? Blood sorcery, G-Pain asks. Is that like when I cook up some shit to keep people out of my shit? No, that sounds like... Wait, what? Did I hear that right? Cook up some shit. You know, like with some blood and shit. Ain't you a vampire? That's what you thought you heard. Your captor has made a mistake. G-Pain isn't mortal at all. Thinbloods might not be as powerful as other vampires, but they sure are more than kind. Maybe you can get out of here after all. Okay, health 2 sounds like a problem. Can we, like, eat a bit of the thin blood? I mean, come on. You no longer need to breathe, but you find yourself exhaling anyway. Now that you know how painful this is going to be, it's hard to work up the nerve to try again. But you have to. Mate, you're trying for the third fucking time. Are you okay? Did you hit your head before getting embraced and just got left with permanent brain damage? But you have to. It's either break free or subject yourself to the machinations of your captor, which will most likely end in final death. Oh, okay, you tell yourself, this is it. You run towards the door, hoping that your momentum will get you through it faster. It doesn't. You can feel your flesh peeling again and wonder if this is just a trick of the blood sorcery, if it can actually destroy you. Well, you won't be any worse off being destroyed now rather than later. Maybe you may as well push through. The pain stops, you look down at yourself and are no worse off than after the first attempt. You're free. At least free of the ward. G-Pain is staring at you with crossed arms. We're getting out now or what? I'm put off by both characters. I kinda don't want you to go off. Either one of you, really. We're throwing ourselves at the first trap that I can possibly throw myself at. I have made the decision that this character is dying if I can help it. Your thing, just need to find that switch. As you approach the wall, you can see why G-Pain had so much trouble finding the switch. The entire wall looks the same. If you haven't seen it opened, you wouldn't even know there was a switch or a button. Whatever it is, you think you can figure out how to operate it. You close your eyes and go back to the moment where the door was opened. Captor's hand moved like this. As you recreate the motion, the door side's open. Leave the room. You step into the long hallway illuminated by blue-green torch flames. You can feel the beast coiling inside your brain, ready to leap out. G-Pain walks up to one of them and runs her hand through it quickly. You want to stop her, but also don't want to get any closer to the flame. She runs her hand back through the other direction, then sticks her hand in and holds it there. Ah! Fake flames, she says, like those fake fireplaces, sort of. The beast relaxes and so do you. Looking around more, you realize that there are several doors down here besides the one you just came out of. From outside, both the doors and the buttons to control there are more obvious. The end of the hallway is set of stairs. Fuck it, let's just take the stairs. Head towards the stairs at the end of the hall. There's light from somewhere further up the stairs, perhaps a landing. Filtering down to the bottom, the light is different from the blue flames, more like artificial light, or at least what you think artificial light should look like. The mystical blue flames barely illuminate the hallway, creating a shadowy contrast with the light off the stairs. Your footsteps are nearly silent on the concrete as you walk down the eerie dark hallway. Almost to the stairs when you see a shadow moving on them. There's no place to hide in the hallway. The only thing you can do is squeeze into the corner nearest the stairs and hope that whoever it is walks by without seeing you. I'm telling you, this isn't a good idea, a deep voice says. Why not? They're staked. They can't get away, a second voice replies. Because they're for Alexis, that's why. Why would Alexis get them to himself? The voices are close now. From your position, you won't be able to see the two until they're entered the hallway. You need to be ready for whatever it is you're going to do if you're going to have a chance of doing it. We're trying to kill ourselves, so just let's go for the seductive option, which sounds like a really bad idea. Perhaps hiding isn't the best avenue after all. You look yourself over. Having been tortured for a while, I'm sure you look great, mate. Adjusting your wardrobe the best you can, trying to make it look like you haven't been imprisoned in the same clothes for 4 nights straight. Oh, it's only been 4 nights, thank God. Why am I saying thank God? I want this character to die. On the other side of the stair opening, G-Pain's face is scrunched up in a look that says, what the hell are you doing? Doesn't look like you'll be getting much help from that porter. You give G-Pain a wink and strut openly towards the stairway. Crimping your hair and licking your lips. Doesn't take long for the two licks to notice you. What are you, One scratches his head, either to figure out what you're doing out of your room or trying to remember what they were going to say. You're not entirely sure. Hey there, you say, sticking your hip out slightly. They stiffen, caught between preparing for a fight and preparing for something else. Your hips are working it as you get closer to the two of them. Have you come down here for a little alone time with us? They look at each other with wide eyes, mouthing words at each other as if to figure out what each other is thinking about what they should do. You slowly run a finger down the neck of one of the licks and say, I'm so glad you did. I've been all alone down here all these nights. The one you're touching has completely melted for you. The other one is still a bit unsure. I'm in need of a good fanging, you tell them, opening your mouth to pop your fangs. There's plenty of meat to go around. The skeptical one straightens up and says, well, I guess we're both in luck then. And what about you? You moan in the other one's ears. Are you feeling lucky? Well, he stammers, I guess it couldn't hurt. Oh, it might. A little, you say with a wink. G-Pain crosses her arms and rolls her eyes as you escort your gentleman to someplace more private. We're now having a really wacky RPG session. I feel like what you wanted to insert was they're a Toreador. They're using awe. Because otherwise... Alternatively, they're using dominate on 2 targets at once and are a Ventru because, once again, It literally reminds me of running like RPG sessions that are not meant to be serious, and your team just revolves into being the carnivorous flower that can walk the wacky inflatable tube man, and ex-wizard turned janitor that has existential questions about whether his staff is a broom or whether it's a staff. It's that level. It's a bit ridiculous, and ridiculous is fine if ridiculous is what you were going for, but it seems like a big break in the emotional tension from before. Having dealt with the 2 guards, you proceed up the stairs. What, did I give them a good dicking? Because I don't... What did I do to them? They're nothing fancy, just plain concrete that seems to have locked in a smell that can only be described as stairwell. Also, apparently I ate some of the guard, but nothing here changed. Like, for fuck's sake, dude, heal a bit. There are a couple of small landings as the stairs twist a couple more times before arriving at the first landing that has a door to another part of the facility. There's a light square space on the wall where you assume that there was once a sign that stated what the door led to. With a shrug, you push the door open and find yourself in another hallway. This one looks like less of a basement and more like a hospital. There's a red line painted down the center of the floor as well as along the walls. There's not really any other place to go, so you follow it. You pass empty patient rooms, an abandoned nurse's station, and work your way around an empty stretcher in the hallway before finding a place where the red line breaches right into one hallway, while the hallway that you were walking on turns into a green line. Hallway, 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 hallway. There's a lot of hallway in here. There are no signs that tell you what either color mean. What either color means. Follow the red. I'm honest, I'm trying to commit seppuku here. You decide to turn and follow the red line. It leads into a wing where there are vinyl floors designed to look like wood. There's another nurse's station, and there's a window to look into an empty baby room. There's several steps past the window when you realize that G-Pain isn't following you. You look back and see her staring at the window. There's a red tear streaking down her cheek, and suddenly the little firecracker seems vulnerable in a way that you haven't seen so far. Well, suck it up, princess. We have to get out of here. You done? You ask impatiently. We're kind of in the middle of escaping from a Tremere wants to use us as blood dolls if you haven't noticed. T-Pain swipes at her cheeks and turns back to you with a hollow look in her eyes. Yeah, I'm fine. Let's go, she says. Well, let's keep moving. Have a mental breakdown when we're out of the building, Jesus Christ. You keep going down the hall, which seems like it goes forever, twisting and turning until you're completely disoriented By the way, I wish that this game page had a dark mode. Finally get to the end of it, where there is a closed set of double doors. Unfortunately, it's guarded by a couple of serious-looking licks, who are both wearing sunglasses in spite of being indoors. You duck back around the corner, hoping they didn't see you, wait a beat, then peek around the corner. If they saw you, they aren't reacting. Both are carrying submachine guns, and the hallway to get to them is quite long, with no rooms to duck into. I'm just gonna go fighting. Well, 1 health suits me. I'm trying to make it a 0. Judge, jury, and executioner. You were literally made for this. G-Pain cracks her neck. She has the spirit, if not the blood for it. You have guns, you whisper. G-Pain lets out a long breath. She really does seem human sometimes. And gets ready to sprint out. Ooh, long page. You round the corner first, hoping your celerity would get you to the targets before their bullets get to you, or G-Pain. I am really gonna assume Toreador at the moment. Time seems to slow to a crawl. You're a quarter of the way down the hall when you hear the guards shouting for you to stop in slow motion. The whole way down the hall when they bring their weapons to bear. There's a slow flash of light from the barrels of both guns, followed by a crack of gunfire reverberating off the walls. Bullets come whizzing at you, slow enough for you to see them coming up, but fast enough that you're still difficult to dodge. That they're still difficult to dodge. If they were using pistols, this would be a piece of cake, but sheer quantity of the SMGs creates a pattern of bullets that has to be navigated through. You're a quarter of the way through when the bullet wrecks into your shin, causing you to stumble forward. As gracefully as a cat, you wind up back on your feet, but you lost track of the pattern of bullets. Now you're just reacting to what's in front of you, zigging and zagging at whatever you happen to notice. Unfortunately, you don't notice a bullet coming for your shoulder. It rips a hole clean through, causing an intense amount of pain, but it doesn't seem to impair the functionality. You can't keep this up much longer. You actually lost track of your targets as you attempt to survive their bullets. Maybe you made a mistake. Maybe this is where you meet final death. Please do! Then you hear a couple of loud clicks and curses. The guns are out of ammo and you're more than 3/4 off the way to them. With a determined push, you close in on them as they are trying to reload. The first one you reach is caught between trying to decide whether to throw down their weapon and fight or use it as a weapon to bludgeon you with. You pounce on them, shoving them against a locked door and pummeling the life out of them. A rifle butt impacts the back of your head, causing you to see stars. You whirl to face your attacker, but your leg that got shot falls and you fall down. You hear a click as your attacker finishes reloading their weapon. Now you're certain this is final death. There's a roar of gunfire. You expect your body to light up with pain, but it doesn't. Bullets are clanging all around you and the rest of the hallway. There are sounds of struggle. G-Pain has made it to the second guard. You hop up and join the fray. G-Pain got the drop on the guard, but it's no match for their vampiric strength. But the two of you, second guard has little chance. I don't like the protagonist, but I can't bring myself to be as stupid as them, considering that they were walking on like 2 health for forever. After apparently having fed on some guards before, I don't know how I made them indisposed, but you've taken some damage. One of the great things about being a vampire is that you can mend the damage at a rapid rate. You just have to rouse your vampiric blood to do it. This can make you hungrier, but it also means you stay in good condition. At least better condition. If my hunger is 1 out of 5, why the heck was I going around? Not mending. And by the way, trying to mend gives you an error. What helps? What? You search the guards and find the key that opens the double doors. Inside is a large cafeteria shrouded in darkness. You hear movement in the darkness and a whimper somewhere to your right. Where's the damn light switch at? G-Pain complains. Light filters in from the hall, your eyes start to adjust. You still can't see much, but you can detect movement and even you think the contours of the tables. You start to navigate the dimly lit room, you hear sobbing. It's like homing beacon that draws you straight to it. The sound is coming from beneath the table. You reach down, grab a hunk of shirt, and pull out the person. You smell urine, confirming that this is immortal, not one of your kind. Gabby, is that you? A voice calls out. A short, pudgy figure with large glasses and a dark beard with flecks of white it is running up to G-Pain. Sweat is beating on their forehead, but they have a very white smile. Ain't no Gabby here, G-Pain responds. Alright, G-Pain, sorry, they say. What are you doing here? The smile vanishes in the bro furrows. Did they get you too? Two is spelled with two O's. Yeah, G-Pain says. Well, sort of. It's complicated. Well, I'm afraid I won't be much help getting out of this one, they say. Excuse me, interrupt. You know two know each other? Yeah, this is Phil. He's my lawyer. I mean, not mine personally, but he's been assigned to me a couple of times. Got me out of some tight spots with the man, G-Pain explains. Phil, the pudgy man says as he extends his hand to you. Apparently I have a flashback. As you reach out to shake the hands, your memory goes back to a cheap motel room. I've never done anything like this before, a man who called himself Lucas says. Well, I guess there's a first time for everything, you respond flirtatiously. Can I get you anything? A beverage, perhaps? Got any whiskey? Lucas asks. You pull a few mini bottles of different whiskeys out of the bag and hold them up. He takes one, cracks open the lid and drains it. Then he laughs nervously as he sits down in the motel bed. Go ahead and get comfortable, you say, as you head to the bathroom. Don't take too long, he says with a wink. Wouldn't dare to keep you waiting, you say. In the bathroom, you begin changing into a suit of plastic. Probably not the kind of outfit Lucas is expecting. You had picked him up in a bar someplace that wasn't a dive bar, but wasn't exactly classy either. He had a ring on his finger where he got there, but it disappeared when he offered to buy you a drink. Adultery is a sin, your mama used to tell you. It's a form of cheating. Cheaters deserve God's justice. But this cheater isn't going to get God's justice, he's going to get your justice. Over drinks, he had shared a few things about himself. He didn't care to remember most of the details, but for some reason you remember he was a lawyer. It seems like you picked up a lot of lawyers looking to cheat on their significant others. This... By the way, there's weird happenings in my place sometimes. Today my room kind of wrecked itself, but I fixed it, so it's fine. But like, if you had to class, my apartment would at least be classed as like mildly haunted at this point, which I don't particularly mind. Honestly, it's not that worrying, honestly. But the weird thing is, I always have a clean cloth to wipe my hands on because I like having clean hands. This one smells like you would expect a swimming pool to smell. And I don't have any chemicals that smell like a swimming pool, so I'm slightly weirded out right now. That being said, we were murdering people because they wanted to sleep with other people. Really? That's our justification for killing people. You see, it could be interesting to play somebody like that if you wrote their twistedness in very well. And this character just doesn't... It's like some villains are written well, right? And for now, let me just point at one of the ones we already played. Blooming Delirium has somebody overly fascinated with death, but it's written with a passion. A Night to Remember has a insane Toreador. But it's... We burn shit, for God's sakes, but it's written with a passion. And this guy feels flat. I think that's my issue. He is evil on paper, but a bit dumb, but mostly flat. Oh, you have a tight grip there, Phil says with a wince. Cold, too. My apologies, you say with a forced smile. You're a friend of G-Pain's then. I guess you could say that, he explains. I always tried to look out for her. She's gotten crossways of the law a few times, but she's not a bad kid, just a tough life. He's like my guardian angel, G-Pain says as she leans a bony elbow on his shoulder. Phil's cheeks get a little red, then he stammers. I don't know about that, just trying to help. I think we helped each other, G-Pain says with a wink. Phil's face is now as red as a watermelon. Her blood is practically boiling to end this mortal's life. In a lot of ways, he fits the criteria you used to have before you were turned. You were a killer of the wicked. That's how you got your sire's attention. Is this man wicked? Is he a cheater? But your world has gotten a lot more complicated since then, and you sense justice has changed with it. I don't even know the law of blood. I know that my character knows the law of blood. I don't. The law of blood is the only law that matters, Drayden. I mean, it should be pretty damn disgusting though, considering that this person has pissed themselves before and apparently were living underneath the table for a while. Follow the law of blood now, and what the law of blood wills is that you drain this mortal. Her fangs are in his neck before he can react. You can hear G-Pain scream, but it's muted. As if you had dunked your head in the water and she was above it. The blood does not taste wicked. In fact, it is very flat, like a soda that's lost its carbonation. It is a shadow of itself. This was a person who was very average and milquetoast. No matter, his blood will sustain you. When you're done, you let his body fall to the floor. Apparently he only had one blood point, which is absolutely amazing. G-Pain leans over him, crying and chatting. Then she stands and beats her fists against your chest and shoulders. You lousy fuck, she screams. Why did you do it? Phil was a good man, the best person I've ever known, and now he's dead. What the fuck? In the commotion, the other mortals are fleeing towards the door. But if they get out of this room, there's a chance, however small, that they will get out of the building as well. If they do, they will have stories to tell. Stories that could threaten the existence of all kindred. I'm surprised that we had humanity at all. We're just gonna slaughter. Immortals have seen too much. If allowed to make it out of this facility alive, I did not even realize that there was anybody outside of the lawyer underneath the table somewhere that has pissed himself, honestly, before this point. They could threaten all kindred. They uphold the masquerade that keeps your society safe. You cannot allow them to leave. With your vampiric abilities, this is not even a contest. Those who try to run are easily caught. Those who fight have nothing with which to cause you any real harm. The rest can only curl up and cry until death comes for them. This was the end of the green line. You need to circle back to the red line to see if there's any way out of that way. You decide to follow the green light, which winds its way down to the corridor of a few more patient rooms until you get to another door that is locked with a keycard lock. Now what? Why do I have corrosive vitae? Who am I? Well, we have it, we use it. Maybe you can weaken the lock with blood magic. You bite your wrist enough to get some blood flowing, then visualize it turning to acid as it squirts out onto the knob. You aim to hit the lock, but as it splatters everywhere, it pulls up enough on the handle that its entire thing melts off, clanking and hissing on the linoleum. You reach in and to poke out the rest of the handle, the door swings open, revealing a laboratory. Doesn't look like a regular research lab. There's equipment, breakers, vials, centrifuges, but it's hodgepodge of types and brands and not an organized lab. Doesn't seem likely that this was originally part of the hospital, but rather something that the Tremere set up. The question is, what are the Tremere doing with it? Whoa, this is awesome setup, G-Pain says. G-Pain is quite emotionally flat, considering that we just killed the lawyer and slaughtered a whole room of people. It's fine. Everyone's kind of a bit dull today. She runs around like a kid in a candy store, holding up a vial here, a dial knob there. All you need to do to make this girl happy, apparently, is give her a lab. You lost a few friends, gained the lab. Today was a good day. Is this what you do, you ask? This is on another level, she says. Can you tell what they're doing with it, you ask? No, it's not like anything I've cooked up. I would love to figure it out, though. A door on the other side of the room opens and a figure in white lab coat comes in. They freeze when they see on the vial they're carrying slips quickly into a pocket. Who are you? What are you doing here? They ask. We could ask the same of you, you say. That's not how this works, they retort. Tell me who you are, or this gets ugly. It's impossible to tell how much of a threat this individual really is. The lab coat could be hiding any number of weapons, and even if it isn't, Kindred can be a danger unto themselves. Seduction 2 out of 2? We thought you might be able to use some company, you say with a sultry tone. You're kidding, right? They ask. Oh, I assure you we are serious. We've been putting in so much hard work. We just want to give you a little reward, you say. Shifting your body to show off your best assets. Yeah, G-Pain says. Trying her best to help out. Don't you want us? Wait, both of you, they ask. Both of us, you and G-Pain say in unison. Well, I guess it couldn't hurt. They say, and relax their stance and begin to take off their lab coat. How? Everyone's so horny in this visual novel. How did we stay locked up for so long? All you needed to do apparently was step out and wiggle a bit of hip. We're studying, the Tremere says. Studying what? Changes in the blood. You notice it, haven't you? I mean, if you haven't been kindred for very long, you must have. The blood doesn't work the way it used to. Something's changed, but we don't know why, they explain. As a matter of fact, you have noticed. Blood is your stock in trade, or was before you were betrayed. Around the same time, the vampiric elders started going missing. Everyone else started to change. Blood bonds enslaving one kindred to another suddenly broke. Monstrous-looking Nosferatu sometimes become passable as human in mortal society. Gentry who were already particular about their blood sources became downright finicky. You think you can figure out what's causing it, you ask? Certainly. There must be some cause, the Tremere answers. If we isolate the cause, then we can manipulate it for the benefit of all kindred. You mean all Tremere, you correct them. Tremere sighs. Cursing ancient rivalries will not be as easy. Curing ancient rivalries. But there's no reason we can't all benefit from this research. No matter what this Tremere says, you can't leave this stuff in their hands. You could just destroy it all, but in the right hands it could be worth something. Wait, before we decide what to do, G-Pain says, whatever we're gonna do, let me cook up some shit quick real first. What can you do with this stuff, you ask? Well, I can make a brew that lets me move things with my mind for one thing. I can also cook up some shit that will make it foggy, maybe even foggy enough that it will choke a bitch. Well, whatever. Honestly, really, whatever. Whatever you say. You have 30 minutes and then we're getting the hell out of here. Okay, boss, G-Pain says sarcastically before getting to work. Just promised you let her work for about 30 minutes. The guy that we fucked apparently is not a problem anymore. He's just there. He's fine with this. It's fine now. We had a fuck. Everything's fine. He's able to make a couple of vials full of what she calls vampire juice before you decide it's time to go. The question is, what do you do with the rest of the stuff in the lab? Where am I gonna take it? Where am I gonna put it? Do I have a magic ass crack? I'm just gonna put it in the magic ass crack. Why not? If this stuff is good as they say it is, we should take some of it with us, you tell G-Pain. You can't do that, it's ours, the Tremere objected. There we go! Hi, welcome back to the conversation. You stare daggers at them to let them know it isn't negotiable. They shut their mouth and retreat to the corner to sulk. I can't. Zen! Time to be zen. Badly written characters can't get to me. Badly written characters are not real. Okay, this person is a vampire. And research is kind of why they exist, right? Right! Just because we managed to convince them to have a bit of a tumble with us doesn't mean that they're gonna react this way. I mean, they're not defenseless. What? Meanwhile, you grab anything that might be useful in a easier book. Carable. Mostly a few vials and syringes that look especially promising. Nothing else on this floor of the hospital. You're retracing your steps to figure out what you might have missed and realize one of the doors you thought led to a waiting room actually goes to a dark stairwell. Next level, just get me out of the window. The stairwell looks more like the interior of the hospital until like the first stairwell you came up. Lights are slightly warmer shade, though still comparatively dim. Graffiti is scrawled along the walls. A lot of it is just names like Jay-Hizzy and Sam, and uninspired block letters, but there's also a recurring motif of crescent moves and pyramids. Crescent moons and pyramids, you say? Nothing more cold than crescent moons and pyramids. Don't worry about it, it's not like you can just like Google up some sigils or like some other people works or anything remotely occult. It's Jesus Christ. Symbolism is easy, it's everywhere, but not present moons and pyramids. Yep, great decoration skills there. None of the floors are labeled, making it difficult to figure out which ones are worth exploring. You can't spend your entire night searching every floor rather than waste time, energy, and vitae on going through every locked door. You decide to just keep searching until you find an unlocked door. This takes you up several floors before you finally find a door that lets out a loud squeal when you open it. Continue through the squeaky door then. The wing looks more upscale with carpeted floors and glass walls separating out waiting room spaces from the hallway. There are plaques on the doors that notify you which specialty practices occupied each waiting area. Like the rest of the hospital, the area is largely abandoned, but some of the offices have lights on. Occasionally you see humanoid shadows projecting into the hallway, letting you know the offices are not only lit up but are occupied as well. What's the plan? G-Pain whispers. A steely strong arm yanks the back of your shirt and you feel cold steel pressed to your throat. Afraid to turn your head, you look sideways with your eyes and see a revolver leveled at G-Pain's head. Not a damn thing, a bragging voice says. You don't want us to destroy you right here. I don't know. I don't know if I don't want you to destroy me right here. Actually, I would be kind of up for it at the moment. Wanna do some... Wanna do some destruction, bro? Getting out was never going to be easy. I don't know, you just screwed a couple of people and they let you out. Okay, this place is slightly retarded, right? Just also slightly retarded. Sorry for the word. I'm just slightly frustrated, if you can't tell. Just slightly frustrated. Let me help. So we have a building. Using your brain would tell you that the exit from the building, if you don't want to use windows, would be on the ground floor. Literally no point going anywhere else. Locate the ground floor. Oh no, the doors leading to the ground floor are locked. I mean, if it's a hospital and you're reaching stairwells, they're gonna go through all the floors. Hospitals tend to have pretty good planning. Oh no, the ground floor is locked. Whatever shall you do? I don't know. You have already demonstrated that you can use corrosive vitae. What if there's some guards around? Oh, I don't know. You just seduced 3 people in a row and they were completely fine with you doing absolutely anything that you want. So you know what? I'm not even gonna read this block. I'm just gonna click the I heard you were lonely seduction option and let me guess. Let me guess it works. And look, get interrogated button. Let me guess. Let me guess it works. Beckon them close and sink your fangs in. Let me guess it works. Yep, let me guess it works. Well, find the lair of the bloodsucker who has been draining you. Alright, let's go get the asshole who runs this joint, G-Pain says, smacking her fist into the palm of her hand. This could be dangerous, you reply. What does it matter? Yes, I agree, G-Pain, what does it matter? Every night is dangerous for me, whether I'm here, out, or there, and I'm done having to hide and watch my back all the time. Let's end this here and end it now. Ain't that what you would call the law of blood? The Nosferatu security out of the way, because apparently we screwed them all. On a map of the building, you're able to pick up your way through it to Alexis's haven. You expected to be warded, and you weren't wrong, but your previous experience makes it easier to get through than before. I mean, you launched yourself out of ward 3 times over. The doors swing open, you find Alexis sitting behind a large ornate wooden desk that has a large line of blood vials on it. And he was just doing blood crack, let me guess, right? Stops staring at one in his hand to look over quizzically at you, then slowly sits the vial back in its place. Wasn't this a surprise, he muses. Yeah, you reply, you fucked up. Did I, he asks. You thought G-Pain was kind, but guess what? She's kindred, and now you're gonna pay for what you've done to us, you explain. Kindred, Alexis scoffs. A Duskborn, hardly. I guess I know she isn't human, but neither is she fully kindred. With my help, that can be changed. With your help, you scoff. Why should she help you after you left her to be drained? I didn't leave her there to be drained, Alexis responds. You look over at G-Pain. She's shooting a ruthless smile at you. It's true, she says. I was working for Alexis the whole time and didn't even know it. But why? Alexis pushes a button on his desk and the voice says, Sir, bring in the specimen, Alexis says. Right away, sir, the voice corresponds. The tension is palpable. In spite of the awkward silence, none of you feels the need to be the one to break the silence. When the doors open, there's an echo, even though the office doesn't seem big enough for there to be one. 2 kindred dressed as orderlies enter with a gurney. Strapped to the gurney is another kindred. Their eyes are closed, all 3 of them. With a wave, Alexis dismisses the orderlies and says, You see, you infiltrated my haven to get this poor salubri who was within my care. I tried to stop you, but you had help from the inside. The salubri was diablerized before I could destroy you. You want to pin your diablery on me, you say? Right, it's a little far-fetched given your history, I know, but if there is one clan that is known for their rapacious thirst as mine, it is Banu Hakim, Alexis explains. You turn to G-Pain. And what about you? You work for this guy. G-Pain walks closer to you. G-Pain slowly approaches you and whispers, Why do any of us work for, really? Alexis' brows scrunch together in consternation. What are you whispering over there? You aren't sure what G-Pain is doing. She's close enough to be dangerous now, and your muscles tense for combat. Instead, she runs a finger along the top of your chest and says, It can't be half vampire anymore. All the street shit sucks and I'm tired of it. You showed me there's another way and I'ma do that shit right now. Alexis has moved from behind his desk, trying to discern what's happening. If G-Pain was working under his orders, she doesn't appear to be sticking to the plan. She walks over to the prone salubri. You think you hear them whisper something, but can't make out what before G-Pain sinks her fangs into her neck. No, Alexis shouts and runs over to stop her. Several issues with the scenario. If the Tremere wants to eat the Salubri are fair game. There's a blood hunt on them, like on the whole clan. Eating them is not a crime. So this whole plan was completely worthless. Secondly, apparently we're Banu Hakim. So we're not even using seduction. People are just really, really desperate for a fuck in here. I wonder if that worked if you were mortal. Don't hurt me, sir. I'll wiggle my ass at you. I'm gonna need a palate cleanser after this one. I'm gonna stop Alexis. Oh, that's G-Pain's destiny. Alexis is laughing for some reason. We're fighting now. You need to trample the Tremere. It is over, so G-Pain is done. Will never be over, you say. This is what we are, we're violence and death. True that, she says, but what else is new? It's the law of blood. Learned it the way before you taught me the words. How do you feel, you ask? She closes her eyes and says, I can feel the blood moving in me, changing me. Okay, good, I think. I guess we can get out of here then. Why leave, G-Pain asks. We could run this place. Okay. It's easy. This place is easy to run. I mean, a completely ordinary Banu Hakim walks through the facility that's a hospital, wiggles their butt at everybody, and everybody just gives up the game. Well, we already took care of security and Muse, and does anybody really want to challenge the kindred who does it, Alexis? Exactly. Okay, you say let's do it. As she details her plans, you think about the possibilities. You mystify how quickly and passionately G-Pain has formulated a plan. It's like she's been thinking about this for months or even years. There's troubled thought nagging you that she maybe was, but it doesn't matter now. You've gone from the doorstep of the ignominious final death to a relative position of power in a matter of one evening, and you haven't forgotten how all of this started. You'll help G-Pain, of course, but you'll also get your revenge. No, not vengeance, justice. The law of blood must be enforced. Let's not play again. Okay. Let's think of nice things. Think of nice things. It was a lot of work to write this. There were choices that I could make. I can click on things and things can happen. Can we leave this at 3 out of 5? You tried. I'm being nice right now. Major problems that I have with this. Okay, You start off as a murderer. We can overlook that. You being a murderer is not written very well into the plot. We can overlook that. I just seduced my way through a facility of apparently Tremere and Nosferatu while being Banu Hakim. I wasn't using abilities or anything. They were just that desperate. They just saw a prisoner walk out. And they were like, I suppose I'm up for a bit of a tumble. And then afterwards, they don't even like try and stop you. They're like, well, bit of tumble over. I guess I just owe to allow them to do whatever the heck they want. This is perfectly normal. Completely normal. This is after the point that made me very suicidal in this game, which is where my character launched themselves at the same ward 3 times. And didn't think to heal until after the first fight. Like, they were just walking around with a whole bunch of ward damage, and they were like, nah, this is fine, despite the fact that they weren't even hungry. Right. When other people play these games, I do watch them too, by the way. This is how I know that some entries are short. And I'm gonna find the particular pixelated short entry that I really want to play right now. And I'm gonna be happy about it, okay? Okay. Right! Welcome to Vampire the Masquerade, Acrown of Thorns. Thorns, England, October 10, 1433. In 3 nights, Kindred will be signing a treaty to handle the growing pressure of the Inquisition. The Assamites will not agree to sign it. Your task is to find the Assamites and subdue them. During your search, you might have to make choices related to politics, the Inquisition, or your beast. Your choices will influence the balance of power. I'm gonna give my desktop sound a bit of oomph, that you guys can hear it a bit better. Use arrow keys to move. Okay, one thing that's a bit annoying is that I have to tap it quite a lot. I would rather it was continuous because my fingers otherwise might get owie. Ahead, you're going to make a choice that will influence the power balance. Follow the numbers on the top of the screen and make sure that none of the pillars reach 0 or 100. Sure. You come across a gravely injured young woman bleeding out. You could help her live, but the beast inside is tempted by the smell of blood. Suck her dry while you still can, it says. I'm just gonna give her my own blood. So now Camarilla 4, Hunger 6, Anarchs 5, Inquisition 6. Health is 10 out of 10. I still have 7 targets remaining out of 7. Up ahead is an opponent. Follow the button prompts to issue commands. Watch your health and hunger. Literally, the biggest thing about this game that I currently don't like is no continuous walking, but like, I understand that it's like 1 step is 1 turn. I understand where it plays in mechanically, but finger owie. Up 7 health, not too bad. Thankfully we can heal. Prey on crowds to satiate your hunger. If you feed on a kind when any other is facing in their direction, the Inquisition will gain influence. If you completely drain them, they will gain influence either way. Watch their patterns carefully. Yep, they're looking in the same direction at the moment. Ooh, hunger 4. Don't wanna drain them. Hunger 3. Hunger 2. Inquisition is still the same. We did fine here. I don't really wanna them anymore. I a bit worried about how I'm supposed to get there. Oh, there's like another river crossing, I think. Where does it go from? Okay, I'm gonna assume that that path goes through somewhere. Not here, because it's only logical to assume that there's ways to get to a path. You see a wandering horse on the road. It's clearly equipped to be ridden, and it wears a royal crest on its side. I'm not gonna... I just ate. It's fine. Am I missing anything up here? I don't think I am. Ooh! Many path. Many path. Ooh. I would like not to die. A group of young anarchs are preying on a couple of mortals in a busy town square. Preparing to strike because they notice your praying eyes, they invite you to join them. Okay, I'ma join them. Well, that drops my hunger by 1. I know what I wanted. Oh, I'm good now. I mean, I could be healthier probably, but I'm good for now. And there's more if we ever want it. I do enjoy the graphics, I enjoy the sounds. I feel like my sprite... I mean, the mortals keep on facing in directions, but I can't. My character's not allowed to face in directions. Where? What? Okay, I think there's a tiny teeny problem of you can leave. Well, I dread gazed him, which I think makes it easier to attack him. I am not entirely sure what dread gaze does. Well, that target is dead now. There's one dude over here. Nope, I'm good. I should have probably healed more in the last fight. I think hunger goes up to 5, at least normally it does in B5. But it might go up to 10 in this game because it said not to exceed 10, but at the same time I don't want to like try. This is where I came down from. A group of inquisitors are harassing a young-looking pale man on the side of the road. Help the young man by confronting the inquisitors. I'm just gonna keep walking at the moment because Inquisition's kinda high and I need to drop them a little. None of my business! Yep, my hunger actually goes up to 10. a very interesting choice. But I am thankful for it. Because this means that I have quite a bit of hunger to work with. And like, see what I mean about all the tapping? It's like powerful tapping. Super taps. A hunger 4 now. My wrist hates me. Things I do for video games. My fingers hate me too, but mostly it's my wrist. But I will be going to sleep right after, so I'm just... like, it's okay. Sleep can cure my wrist. There we go, nobody saw us do anything here. And 1 hunger again, we have 6 health, we're good. We are good. You see a wounded young Camarilla representative feeding on someone who's clearly on another injured vampire. As he realizes your presence, you see guilt in his eyes. It's against the rules, but you cannot judge without knowing the full story. Help him move the victim to a secluded location and let him go. Have a nom, dude. Have a nom. I get them like really low before I try and heal myself. Oh my! What the heck was this streak? I just succeeded 2 rouse checks in a row, and I'm at full health without having to think about it. Okay, so now we just have a field of people in here. Doing their peoply things. Ahead of you is a team of inquisitors looking through a barn, preparing to execute a group of hiding heretics. One of them left an unguarded torch outside. Well, I'm just gonna save the heretics because we're Inquisition... Oh, Inquisition 5. That lowered the Inquisition? Really? Interesting. Ah! Okay! Fuck me! This dude hits like a truck. Yay! We have succeeded! I think that was the final boss, for he was hitting like 7 damage ago, and I was like, ah! But anyways, this has been Vampire the Masquerade, Acrown of Thorns, and it has been my palate cleanser. Thank you, entry for existing. Thank you, Lunar Wilderness, for making it. At least that's what your page is called, because it was a delightful tiny game. And it really relaxed me. I wouldn't have been able to go to sleep after the previous game because it really infuriated me. This one is just relaxing. If you want to play any of the entries that I have showcased in here, feel free to go and do so, for the links are in the description down below. As far as this one goes, I would say 5 out of 5 for execution. It's a bit simplistic. There isn't like super a lot of story, but there are some choices that you have to make. There are some gaming elements. Graphics look cute. I like them. I like the sounds. If there was one thing that I would need to change about this, is the constant tapping of the keys to move. My hand is not a happy hand right now. But that is the entirety of my criticism for this game. It is a delightful tiny thing. I don't know if delightful tiny thing is something that you want to hear about your creation, but it is a delightful tiny thing. And I like the delightful tiny thing. So that's that. Thank you everybody for watching, and I'm gonna see you in my next episode.